It's time to strap in and get ready for the front stretch. Presented by Joe's Karting. Dan and Dirk are live in the studio today, ready to hear from you at 402-573-0590.
Well, good morning, race fans, and welcome to the front stretch presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. Dirk and I are live in the studios, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. We spent the weekend we spent the weekend at I-80 Speedway, as many did, and we were there last night. I think we finally passed the pit gate at about 2:30 this morning.
It was a little before that, but yeah, it was a late one.
But we're dedicated to make sure you know what happened at the Silver Dollar Nationals. We've got a man in the studio that raced to the prelude to the Silver Dollar Nationals on Thursday. Jack Dover joining us. How you doing, bud?
Doing all right.
It's
a little early for me.
Yeah, it's a little early for a lot of people, but we're here. We're talking racing, and this is a first. It's the first time we've had anybody in studio with us. So
live, huh?
Yeah. So.
Well,
way to break more. Yeah, way to break more records, bud.
There you go.
Jack had a great night on Thursday night in the Nebraska 360s. He's had a pretty epic season so far, and we're going to talk to him more about that in turn number 3. Turn number 2, we're going to talk to Trenton Berry from dirtondirt.com. He had the broadcast last 2 nights in the call with James Essex, and we'll talk to Trenton about all of that and get his recap of the race. But the biggest thing in turn number 1, which is presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. We're going to talk recapping all of the action from the Silver Dollar Nationals as we saw it. So let's get to some of the audio clips that we were able to pull for you guys. Thanks again. I got to send out a big thank you to Joe's Karting, because they take care of us and give us this recording equipment to be able to hook up to the soundboard at I-80 Speedway and to be able to pull the broadcast audio from James Essex and Trenton Berry so that we could recap it for you, just like we did with the World of Outlaws and Johnny Gibson. So thanks a lot to Joe's Karting. They step up as a great sponsor and give us the equipment we need to make sure you guys have a good audio and a good rebroadcast. So let's talk about the 5th annual Silver Dollar Nationals. Starting on the pole, help me out. I'm drawing a blank is actually who was on the pole last night.
Young man by the name of Davenport.
Yeah, he's got some talent, a little bit of on fire, gentleman. Won
11 of his last 13 starts.
Yeah, I was thinking back, maybe that number's not right, but
and
you're
9
right.
in a row.
Absolutely on
6
fire.
6 of them Lucas shows.
And everybody was saying the same thing up in that booth, and every official I've talked to is it's going to be Davenport this year. He's just way too fast. He's on fire. And so as the race got underway, Jimmy Owens gave Jonathan Davenport a run for his money, but eventually Davenport showed his muscle and he took the lead. There was a great battle between that we pick up with Trenton Berry and James Essex as we get to our first caution lap on lap 7.
The yellow is out over in turn 2. Rodney Sanders, R.C. Whitwell. And it appears to be, is that the 5 of Don O'Neill also involved in that? O'Neill, your inaugural Silver Dollar National Champion. So 3 cars involved and stopped somewhere between the exit of 2 and the middle of the back straightaway.
And so that was our first caution that came out. And I should preference that by saying that Rodney Sanders won the USMTS race both Friday night and Saturday night, extends his streak for the Silver Dollar Nationals to 6 straight wins. Something to shoot for there, Jack.
That's pretty impressive.
And they're also predicting him to be the first USMTS driver to crack 100,000 in earnings in one season.
Well,
wow.
He could have added to that last night had he listened to Joe Koziski, because as the first caution came out that USMTS race, Joe was, I don't know if he was joking around, if he was serious, that he was going to give Sanders $5,000 to go to the back with about 25-30 laps to go.
Well, you don't know if he'd have made it all the way from the back, because when you got to come from the back, and Jack can testify, you race with the squirrels, sometimes you get your nuts cracked.
It's hard on a big track like that also.
That's very true. But So Rodney won that one, and then they were talking about he might actually have a pretty good shot in his late model to win the Lucas Oil, but he was involved in that, as well as former champ Don O'Neill and another car. So all 3 of those cars out for the night. We pick up the action again as James Essex calls the field back to the green flag.
Watch that blue 00. Stovall's got that top line on the restart. Here we go. 8:72 to go in the 5th annual Silver Dollar Nationals at I-80 Speedway. Here we go.
Jonathan Davenport leads the field down into turns 1 and 2 on the restart. Jimmy Owens in the second spot, right on the bottom side. Tad Pospisil ran the middle through that turn. They'll roll single file down the back straightaway. Jimmy Owens right on the low side there in the Widow Axe, rolling racing. Ford number 20. Davenport still setting the pace.
Jason running a Bloomquist possible. So Moyer to the outside of the turn 2. Bloomquist on the bottom of the turn number 2 down the back straightaway, wheel to wheel possible. So Bloomquist takes the spot under the 5th. Moyer 6th. Here comes Shepard. Brandon Shepard up to 7th. Stovall to the top 10.
Stovall right up into that top 10. Terry Phillips jumped the cushion that time through turns 3 and 4. Ryan Gustin out of shape. Matt Bowler flips over. Ryan Gustin, that all started with the 75 of Terry Phillips out of shape over in turn 3 and 4. Ryan Gustin got sideways trying to avoid him. Matt Bowler went over with a little assistance from Jake O'Neill, and the red flag is out.
Everybody was okay. Everyone was able to walk away. But I tell you, I had myself a pop this morning. Kind of woke up a little bit. I hear the engines roaring. I'm perked right back up again. I'm all set to go. I love this audio. This just gets me going. After about a 20-minute red flag, Davenport would lead Owens and Bloomquist back to the green onto lap number 11.
Bloomquist closing the gap on your leader, Jonathan Davenport, through turns 1 and 2. Here comes the 0.
No! 6 is going to get passed. Are you kidding me? Bloomquist takes the lead. The crowd on its feet. Are you kidding me? Bloomquist takes the lead. Davenport. When is the last time he ever got passed? Down the back straightaway. Davenport back to 2nd. Moyer 3rd. Owens is 4th. 5th is under 0 out in front of I-80.
And it was shock. I mean, shock and awe when Bloomquist just took that lead, and he took it with authority, too. Nobody expected him to do that. Nobody expected it to come that fast. He just caught up to Davenport and just blew right past him. And
well, the interesting part was once some of the other drivers saw him do it, they said, hey, we can pass this guy, too.
And he talked about that a little bit in the post-race, about not showing your cards. We'll talk. We've got audio from that in a little bit. We'll play that for you. So as we continue, I think I actually played the wrong clip there. Anyways, let's move ahead to, let's see, 4,000. Let's see, Bloomquist takes the lead. Okay, go to the 4,004, and that's going to be, yep, completely lost our track here.
Too early in the morning.
Yeah, no kidding. Return to green, caution for the 6 car. Yep, that one, 4,004. Go ahead and play that one.
Here we go, 30 to go in the I-80 Silver Dollar Nationals. It's been a dandy. Here we go. Here comes Stovall, Davenport, and Brandon Shepard down the back straightaway as Owens will take 2nd. Jimmy Owens to 2nd. Davenport up top. Here comes Stovall. Here comes Shepard out of 4, digging hard at the bottom. Is Craig Satterley. Meanwhile, Owens for the lead. Out in turn 2 down the back straightaway. Here comes Jimmy Owens. Let's see if the crowd comes to its feet this time. Davenport works the top. He's not done. He's not done. 28 to go. Oh, my goodness.
Bloomquist continues to lead. Jimmy Owens right there. Jonathan Davenport as well in the 6. Davenport really taxing that Longhorn chassis. Outstanding run up front here tonight for the 0, the 20 of the 6. Then it's a few car lengths back to Moyer in the 21. Greg Satterley looking now to the inside of Moyer. New 4th place car, the 22.
And 0-26. Satterley on the move. Satterley to 4th. Moyer 5th. Stovall's dropping back now under, and Shepard all over him, but all eyes. How about the trifecta for the leader? Are you serious?
Bloomquist, Owens, Davenport, Jonathan Davenport really going to work on that restart, along with the 20 of Owens and the 0 of Bloomquist. Davenport now about a car length, maybe 2 back of Owens. The 6 will go back to the top side through 3 and 4 this time. Davenport, full head of steam off turn number 4. New 2nd place car, the 6 of Davenport.
3 of the top drivers in the nation. Oh, Owens almost got it all. Davenport down the back straightaway. Well, the crowd came to its feet when 0 passed 6. What is 6 passes 0 here? 24 to go. Here they come.
Davenport now about 2 car lengths back of the 0. Back to work through 1 and 2. Davenport will slow the pace ever so slightly and not abuse the cushion that time through turns 1 and 2, but it's right there if he needs it. JD in the 6, up into the wall.
He's in the wall, no! No! The caution is out! Oh, no! No! Oh! Oh, my goodness sakes! Oh, for the lead! Reminds me of Gaston when he was going for the lead.
Same corner.
Same corners. Oh.
And that heartbreaking reference to 2013 when Ryan Gustin was leading the race and had come from 31st all the way to lead the lead.
From dead last.
Yeah, to lead the race and then got into the back of Burke. But anyways, yeah, so a heartbreaker there for Jonathan Davenport as he had finally found something and he was making his way back to the front. It had been another lap or two and he would have caught Bloomquist and passed him. Who knows what would have happened after that? I think we'd have had a pretty intense battle on our hands. But as you hear from these audio clips, we're hearing some intense battles between Owens and Bloomquist, and it will continue here as, Davenport is done for the night after that accident. We talked to him post-race about what happened with that, so we'll play that audio here in a little bit. Then the green comes back out, and yet again we have another battle for the lead between some of the best late model drivers in the nation.
24 to go at I-80. Into one. Oh, Satterley ain't going great. Down the back straightaway, Greg Satterley to hanging on there, going for a second. Here comes Stovall back into Landers. Out at turn number 4, they're side by side for a second. Owens and Satterley. Owens has this punt right now.
Good restart that time a little further back in the field there for the 0-0 of Stovall. Stovall back to work right up on the top side. He'll try to get around Billy Moyer. Good run center off for the 0-0 of Stovall.
Yeah, good restart that time. Jesse up top. Now Bishop gets boxed in behind Moyer. Moyer dropping back at a turn. 4:58 scored. 0-20 for the lead. Let's see what the crowd does this time. Stovall's got it working. Jesse Stovall on a 2 down the back straightaway. He and others. Alberson out of the race. Meanwhile, up front, Bloomquist up top. Here comes Jimmy Owens for the lead of the turn 4.
Bloomquist has it. Jimmy Owens right there, less than a car length at the line that time. Owens and Bloomquist up front. Satterley runs in that 3rd spot all by himself. Jason Utter holds onto the 4th spot. Stovall 5th. Here comes Stovall up into the 4th spot. Stovall back up now, trying to get his 0-0 into contention one more time.
As the laps were winding down, Bloomquist's lead was shrinking as Owen had found that high side.
Owens now to the low side. He'll get around the 25 of Jason Fager. Bloomquist to the outside of Jason Papich through turns 3 and 4. Here we go. This will be a good one. Jimmy Owens coming back that time at the line. 19.8 for Bloomquist. 19.4 for Jimmy Owens. Owens not done yet. 1 lap car between your top 2 race cars. Bloomquist down into turns 3 and 4. Trying to become the first repeat winner in Silver Dollar Nationals history. 4/10 of a mile to go. Bloomquist and Jimmy Owens. Owens is right there. We'll see what he's got this time off turn 2. Jimmy Owens, good run down the backstretch. They'll close to a couple car lengths. It's gonna be a stellar finish at the end. The crowd on their feet, rolling off turn 4. Bloomquist is the first to repeat in the Silver Dollar Nationals as he goes back to back in the 0, stopping the streak of Jonathan Davenport. Scott Bloomquist in an absolute I-80 Speedway thriller. Jimmy Owens into the 2nd spot where he'll finish tonight. And 3rd from Billings, Missouri, the 0-0 of Jesse Stovall. A round of applause for that race here at I-80.
That was absolutely a magnificent race. I thought maybe a couple of more laps, Owens might have caught him. Because he was definitely coming in a hurry. But with 2 to go, when they crossed the line with 2 laps left to go, Bloomquist had about an 8/10 or 7/10 lead, and Owens was catching him 4/10 per lap. So it was coming down to the end.
Well, he caught him 4/10 on that 1 lap. I mean,
Yeah.
the times were bouncing around quite a bit, just depending on the traffic, because they were in that lap traffic, and that was going to play to Bloomquist's favor because he's real good with lap traffic.
So that's the way it finished. Scott Bloomquist became the first driver to win 2 Silver Dollar Nationals and became the first driver to go back-to-back, obviously. We got down into the pits, and we were able to have a conversation with Scott Bloomquist, and here is that interview with Scott. Scott, you're the first driver to go back-to-back at the Silver Dollar Nationals. You're the first driver to win 2 Silver Dollar Nationals. Congratulations on that. As the race got started, it seemed like your car kind of rolled in as the race went on. Was there a point early on in the race when you thought, I think I really got a shot at winning this thing?
Well, we were running low early, and really low early, and the car felt really good there, and I knew that probably wasn't going to last the whole race, but we started moving around in 3 and 4, and found some pretty good stuff in the middle of the racetrack, and I felt that the car was just real neutral and real maneuverable. I was a little bit tight on entrance of the corner, but that's good here. You can't afford to be loose on entrance and chasing the car up the hill. So we got the setup pretty damn good. Did some things different than last year. Track was different than last year. So that's one thing that last year it was just black slicked top to bottom, and there's a lot of brown out there all night long, and still is some brown out there, especially in 3 and 4. Just made for a different race.
It seemed like as the restarts were happening that you and Owens were pretty even, but as the laps wound on, you were able to start picking up a tenth, 2 tenths faster than him.
Yeah, again, I was just moving around, trying to find a place on the racetrack. Sometimes it's an advantage to be in second in those situations because he can gauge off of me. And, if I'm hit a really good lap, he can just put his in that groove in that corner. And then he can wait for me to, when I move around in the other end, he can see when he gains. And you can just position yourself sometimes better when you're in second. But we moved around enough that I felt like I was a pretty good judge of where the best traction was at, and when all of a sudden I didn't feel it as good anymore, I'd find somewhere else to go.
And it seems like this track adds for multiple grooves. You see some tracks it's locked down on the bottom, but a lot of times when you come into the big events like this, the Koziskis give you guys 3 grooves at least.
Well, there's no doubt. That's why I say this place has made my top 5 in all-time racetracks that we go to. There's not too many that you can race wall to wall, and there's not a specific groove that's faster than another.
As the race is winding down, Owens started to catch for you. Were you cognizant of all of him coming and catching you and starting to make a move on you?
No, not necessarily. I didn't. Again, when you're in second, you could go for broke and maybe run right on the fence, and but usually when you start running like that, you might gain 2 laps and then make a mistake and lose it all the next lap. And it's like I just wanted to be sure and stay in a lane. I wasn't going to make any mistakes and give the race to somebody.
Did you hear the big announcement at the beginning of the race that they've now upped it to 40,000 next year?
Sounds good. Sounds like what a lot of places need to do. But they got a good crowd, and they're Koziskis are race people, and they understand. There needs to be a major event out here like this one, and I think they're gonna have to add on to the grandstands.
I think so, and I think they might have to reinforce them. I felt a little bit of a shake when you took the lead past the 6 car there.
That's good. That's what it's supposed to be.
I kind of wondered to myself, I wonder if while he's going across the front stretch, if he can hear the crowd screaming at him.
Never heard him. We got enough noise.
You were in a bit of a zone there, weren't you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Scott Bloomquist, first time to take 2 wins here at the Silver Dollar Nationals and back-to-back winner. Congratulations, bud.
Thank you.
Jack, you're kind of you're sitting in the studio right now. You've felt that track. You know what he's talking about. Can you kind of elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, actually on Thursday, the Koziskis, they give us a good track to race on, and pretty much like what Scott said just there. A lot of guys were running the bottom Thursday night when I was out there, and it was actually kind of throwing some of the sticky stuff up in the middle of the track. And at the end of the race, that's kind of where I was running. So they gave us an awesome track Thursday night, and it sounds like they gave them an awesome track the rest of the weekend. So just got to give the hats off to Koziskis.
Yeah, they do a good job setting up the track regularly, but when it comes to the Silver Dollar Nationals and some of their bigger events, they take extra careful to make sure and set it up the way you guys like it.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking to somebody the other night in the pits, and was just talking about how the Kaziskis have turned that place around in the last 3 years, and they've just made that track phenomenal.
When we interviewed Rodney Sanders a couple weeks ago, Rodney basically said, doesn't matter how bad you miss your setup, that track is so wide and so racy, you can race somewhere.
Oh, yeah. I totally agree. I mean, there's multiple lanes you can go, and anything will almost work.
We continue with our interviews. We talked to second place, the Newport Nightmare, Jimmy Owens, about his night.
All weekend we've had a pretty good car. We come down here and practice, try some good things and some different things, and wasn't as good, but we switched back to some other stuff we've been trying and had a good run. Had a good car all night long, was maneuverable. I tried to keep the car under me and try not to abuse it too much, and I felt like I was pretty good. But Scott was real good in that middle, and I felt like we were pretty good in the middle, but you got to go somewhere he ain't.
Go back through, though. I think there was about 6 to go. You were catching him coming out of turn 4, and you just tapped the wall.
Yeah, it was real tough to run that high side up there and not jump that cushion. It was just really, really hard and hard to control. And, it was just one of them deals. We jumped it and fell back, running back down, and it was just a bonsai move that last lap, so maybe we make it, maybe we don't.
But you've continued your streak, though. One of the best average finishes of the Silver Dollar Nationals. I think we talked about it on Thursday. You had an average of like third-place finish. Now you've increased that just a little bit with the second-place finish. So consistently finishing well here at the Silver Dollar Nationals.
Yeah, the guys do a good job prepping the track, and, it's real similar to some of the tracks we got around home. So I was really pleased with it and really enjoy coming here.
Are you just saying that because the track prep group guy is sitting in front of me?
I've known him a long time. I can give him some crap if I need to.
He's checking over your car right now. I think he's making sure everything's looking okay. Don't let him get too close. He might steal some secrets from you.
Well,
Steve Kaziski looking over the number 20 car. Jimmy Owens, second place finish. Good job, bud.
Thank you.
And Jimmy, a good sport there, but yeah, he did. He was catching Scott pretty quickly, but just got a little bit too high. And I don't know if it was his paint scheme or what was going on with that car, but man, when he ran that high line, I mean, he just looked 10, 15 miles an hour faster than everyone else. He looked like he was absolutely a rocket.
Well, you are usually a few mile an hour faster on the high line just because you can keep your momentum up.
Mm-hmm. And the high side was where it was at, but those guys were finding every different places. I mean, like your sprint car guys, you tend to find it like when you get to the high side, game's over with, Jack. Yeah. When you finally get up there, when you're able to get to your high side and make your move. But still, I mean, even I was just so impressed with the way some of these guys were able to make their move. Scott made his money on the low side and then in the middle of the groove and then a little bit higher up, and he was able to go anywhere last night.
How many laps was that actually?
80 lap feature.
Wow.
And 2 red flags. 2 red flags. So it was a bit of a long night. All right, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. In turn number 2, we're going to talk to Trenton Berry of raceanddirt.com. We'll be back here on the front stretch.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IMCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low-emission engines will still have you white-knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda-powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shaylee Bate, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he is talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kosiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kosiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Dan and Dirk are rolling into turn 2 with a little attitude on the front stretch.
We are back at it into turn number 2, brought to you by Kosiski Auto Parts. Online at Kosiski.com. On the phone at 402-731-4592. You can also find them at 51st and I Street in Omaha. Quality used parts at an affordable price. Did you see that Kaziski Auto Parts pace car that was making laps around I-80 last night?
Absolutely. Nice, pretty Husker red.
That was a salvaged title that you could purchase at Kaziski Auto Parts. They get those things a lot. There's a little bit of water damage down at the bottom of it, and Steve and Joe said, you know what, let's buy it and let's make it into our pace car for the year. And so that's the plan right now. So you could actually ended up buying a salvage title from Kaziski Auto Parts that was the official pace car of the 5th Annual Silver Dollar Nationals.
Yeah, they just picked out the other one they had sitting there and made it the pace car.
Joining us on the show now is the man who had part of the call last night and is a part of the race broadcast for RacingDirt.com. Trenton Berry joining us this morning. Trenton, after a long weekend, I appreciate you sticking around and helping us out to do a little talking about dirt.
Yeah, no problem. I always like to talk about racing, guys, and I'm glad for the opportunity to be on. Hanging with you through the break right there. I heard a few ads for Joe's Karting, Quaker Steak and Lube, and Kaziski Auto Parts. Those are three things right at the top of my list when we come to the Omaha area.
Absolutely. The great indoor karting facility at Joe's Karting and some of the best wings in town at Quaker Steak and Lube. We'd love to get you over there sometime if you haven't been there yet. But great food, great servers. I enjoy them very well. All right.
You bet.
Your thoughts on the race last night? We played some broadcasts from you and James Essex, some of the play-by-play, talking about that first red flag that came out, and then as the race progressed, Bloomquist's car really kind of came in and started to kind of take over the race, but Davenport wasn't quite done yet.
No, he really wasn't. And first off, it was this is just an outstanding event. First and foremost, that began back 4 quick years ago now, I guess 5, with the with Bloomquist win last night. They really took something from nothing in a time that the dirt racing really wasn't having just a whole lot of new, cool, innovative things. And it has a special format to it as well that many different people across the country have adopted this race format for several of their special events. It was a fantastic event from top to bottom. The feature was great. Unfortunately there was that red flag, and the one car of Matt Buller went over on his side. He got a little help from Jake O'Neill that was caught up with Ryan Gustin in there, and it all started when the 75 of Phillips got up and out of the groove going through turns 3 and 4. So other than that, though, it was a pretty outstanding night of racing. I think I don't know. If you're a race fan and you bought that ticket to walk through the front gate, I don't know really how there was anything more that you could ask for your money's worth last night.
Yeah, you could have had more red flag beer specials, I think, is what they would have asked for.
Them beer girls were busy last night, weren't they?
Well, they were. You know what? You Cornhusker folks sure like your cold beverage, and I'll tell you what, though, we sure enjoy every opportunity we get to come up in this area. That's some outstanding racing, both with regional and national drivers and the fine crop that you all developed around this area.
We played the broadcast when Scott Bloomquist took the lead, and how surprised you guys were. I think how surprised everybody was that we figured Scott would be strong, but nobody's been able to beat Jonathan Davenport this year, and the way Scott went by him was just real shocking.
It really was, and you knew that Scott would be good. He doesn't let places get to him very much, and he'd obviously won here this race last year, so you knew he would be fast. But Davenport was on kind of an unfathomable roll, here lately. I think James had said 11 of the last 13 races he had won. So then last weekend we were down at Lucas Oil Speedway in Wheatland, Missouri, and I mean he was absolutely the class of the field all weekend long in both the Saturday and Sunday races.
Do you think this could be a turning point for him for the rest of the teams catching up to him now?
Tough to say. It really is. I fully expected Davenport to win that race last night, and I went on record and said that to multiple people. Obviously that as James Essex says, that's why you run the race. Mm-hmm. So anything can happen. I would have liked to have seen, had he not gotten over the cushion and up into the wall there in 3 and 4 that ultimately spelled his doom last night. I would have liked to have seen where he was at, because he fell back, but then when he really needed to, he charged right back up there and was in contention. So I don't know if Bloomquist was totally out of the woods in that race prior to Davenport crashing or not, to be quite honest.
And we're talking with Trenton Berry of RacingDirt.com. Do some fantastic work over there, and you do some announcing for several different outlets. Trenton, as the race began to wind down the final laps, Owens was starting to catch Bloomquist. Had this been an 85-lap feature or a 90-lap feature, do you think he actually could have got by him, or was Bloomquist going to get pretty wide?
Well, you would have to think that Bloomquist would get wide. The thing that was pretty telling to me, 2 laps shy of the checkered flag, we were keeping an eye on the transponder scoring, and Owens' lap that time was about 0.4 faster than Scott Bloomquist. So, that what if game, I always like to think, what if this happened? What if that happened? Never any way to really know. I think that Owens would have gotten to the back of Bloomquist. Getting around him though would have that would have been a pretty tough. I think it would have been a pretty tough thing, especially coming to the checkers.
Yeah, that's a tough deal to actually get by him. It's one thing to catch him; it's another thing to get by him.
Right, and not necessarily that they would even crash or anything. I mean, those guys are 2 professionals that race at the highest parts of the sport. But I don't think. I know Bloomquist wouldn't win easily.
What was your takeaway from the whole weekend? Anything kind of you saw as a guy who's really embedded into the sport?
Well, it's just it takes that great fan support first off to be able to pay the purse that they put up for this race, not only for the modified or for the late models, but for the modifieds as well. They really are holding on to something special here with this event, and for me, it's the fact that you have 2 co-headlining main events. So, so a huge shout out to all the great race fans. Obviously, a family that has an undying love for the sport of dirt racing, and it obviously takes that in this day and age. An outstanding group of local marketing partners, that we highlighted all throughout the weekend. It takes every one of these businesses around to help throw in extra stuff for the non-qualifiers race and to bring fans more involved with the drivers, prizes for the fans. I mean, it was no shortage of downtime on the PA, as we highlighted those people that were so vital to the race. And I'm serious, it takes every single bit of that to be able to pull off an event. There's a lot of people that can go throw money at a purse and say that you're going to have a big race. But what the Kosiski family has done is they have continually, kind of put their money where their mouth is, and they put more in it every single year. And it's because of all those great factors that are listed that they're able to do that, and this event continues to grow. They kind of unofficially, this event reached crown jewel status, I kind of think this year, and some of the other media folks that were there kind of felt the same way as well. So to do that in 5 years is nothing short of remarkable.
Well, the final question I've got for you is who's going to have a better racing year, Jonathan Davenport or American Pharoah? I think you were the one that asked me that last night, but I don't know anything about it. So.
Yeah, I would say.
Does Davenport still have a chance now that he didn't win the Silver Dollar Nationals?
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah. He, he's still out front leading the Lucas Oil Late Model Series points. And they've got a lot of big money left. Those guys will all be headed, and not all those guys. Several of those guys will be headed to a track. There's just about a complete polar opposite next week in Illinois of what they saw here at I-80 this weekend. So it'll be exciting to see how that one shakes out. But yeah, no, Davenport, I think, is still your favorite in the Lucas Oil Series in the point standings this year. That team, Kevin and Leroy Rumley own that team, and Kevin Rumley is an actual engineer. So the things that they come up with and do and how much of the work that they do in-house in a day and age where it's so easy for guys to buy speed and technology and information is pretty remarkable. And a lot of that you can attribute to their success this season. Davenport's still the favorite this year, no doubt.
Trenton Berry of RacingDirt.com. How can people find you? Dirk's got a question for you.
Hey, Trenton.
Yeah,
I just had one quick question about Friday night. What did you think of that chase race they did, that eliminator race?
I thought that chase race was a pretty neat idea, to be honest with you. The thing that I liked about it was they run the Belt Bash, the non-qualifiers race on Saturday night. Well, on Friday night, that gave some of the regional guys and the local guys, plus a couple of folks that got voted in on the fan vote, Brandon Shepard being one of those national drivers, a chance to race for some more money, and any time with as much expense goes into racing, anytime you can add something like that to the program is really worthwhile and invaluable to the racers. And I talked to the guy that won that, Jesse Stovall. He's down south a little bit, located in my part of the country, and he was extremely grateful for the opportunity to run that race, and to Cubbies for helping out that race, and the fact that he was able to get an extra $2,000 for the weekend.
What I liked about it is it wasn't a 50-lap race or a 40-lap race. The whole thing's done in 18 laps. I
enjoyed it, and I thought the elimination style was neat. It gave us something to look forward to. For me, 6 laps, and 6 laps, nobody was able to get too far apart from one another, which, kind of by default helped make the racing a little better, too.
Absolutely. Trenton Berry of RacingDirt.com. Where can people find you next?
Next weekend, we're headed to Deer Creek Speedway in Spring Valley, Minnesota, southern Minnesota. We'll be there next Thursday through Saturday with a live online pay-per-view. Actually, we'll be with the Modified Series that raced at the USMTS this weekend. It's the 5th annual World Modified Dirt Track Championship, and it'll pay. They'll run the race in segments, 2 segments, but it'll pay $20,000 to win total. So we're looking forward to that.
RacingDirt.com. Find him there. You so much work for the community. We do appreciate it. Trenton Berry, man.
All right, thank you, guys. I appreciate the opportunity to be on with you. Everybody in the Omaha area, you have an outstanding racetrack that many people across the country would be fortunate to have, and it's right there in your backyard, so get out and check out the I-80 Speedway.
Appreciate it, bud. Have a good one.
Thank you.
See you next summer.
All right, see you.
Trenton Berry of RacingDirt.com. Appreciate him after a very long weekend and, quite frankly, a frustrating weekend with the high heat, the humidity, and some of the technical issues that we were having in the booth, that they were having in the booth. I was just watching them deal with them. Thanks for him taking the time out of his morning to join us. I'm sure he's had a short morning too, but yeah, he's absolutely right. I don't want to put a downer on the end of this note, but you always hear about the Sunset Speedway. How fortunate we were to have that track, and how fortunate we were to have that track. I-80 is one of those tracks that, as long as you keep going to it, it'll always be there. We won't have to do a walk down I-80 lane and remember some of those dates. We're always going to be able to keep that track going. All right, let's take a break. We'll come back in turn number 3 and talk with the gas man, Jack Dover. You ready to go?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. We'll be back in turn number 3.
One of the hardest things to find in the world is a trusted mechanic. Your car breaks down. You need someone that won't see you as an opportunity to pad their wallet. Jim at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is that person. From brake and AC inspections to custom exhaust and new tires, Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is your new trusted source for getting your car back on the road. Find them on Facebook at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service Center of Bellevue and online at tuffybellevue.com.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 200 people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team meetings, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.
The road to Knoxville, July 30th and 31st at I-80 Speedway. 2 great sprint car circuits battle for the biggest 2-day sprint car purse in Nebraska history. Over 80 in Nebraska Sprint League, over 80 National Sprint League 410s and ASCS 360 National Sprints will compete for a $140,000 purse. Special guest appearance by Doug Wolfgang. There'll be a live concert by Dolly Parton, impersonator Sandy Lee Anderson, and it's going down July 30th and 31st. $5 coupons available at U-Stop and Casey General Stores. For tickets, visit SprintCarPromotions.com.
This is Andrew from Kaziski Auto Parts. Kaziski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke-down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next-day fashion. Kaziski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kaziski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kaziski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Feather the brake and get back to the gas. Dan and Dirk are headed into turn 3 on the front stretch.
Rolling into turn number 3, and it's brought to you by the road to Knoxville. Again, July 30th and 31st at I-80 Speedway. The National Sprint League 410s and the ASCS 360 sprint cars compete for the largest sprint car purse in Nebraska history. $140,000 is on the line for the nation's best sprint car drivers. You can get $5 coupons at U-Stops and KC General stores. You can visit sprintcarpromotions.com for more details and information. And not to mention, Doug Wolfgang is going to be there.
That's pretty awesome.
That's kind of an epic sprint car driver right there. We had him on for the Legends of the Dirt series, I want to say it was 2 years ago. Did a fantastic interview with us, and we're kind of I'm working with Lee Ackerman, who helps me out a lot at I-80 Speedway. I said, let's find something fun to do with Wolfgang. He said, okay, bend my arm, twist my arm here. We'll find something fun to do with Wolfgang. So he'll be there signing autographs and doing a guest appearance at I-80 Speedway coming up July 30th and 31st. Another guy who, are you going to be there?
I'll be there.
You going to get that engine put in?
Oh, yeah.
Get that engine put in already.
I'm going to try to run both of them.
All right. So you're going to have probably 2 cars there?
2 cars.
You can't change those. How long does it take you to change those engines out?
It takes about 10 minutes.
No kidding?
Yeah. I mean, it don't take nothing, but it's just the fact that
it's harder to do it when it's hot.
Yeah, and you don't want to do it when it's hot, and you gotta be on top of your game with that much money on the line.
Yeah.
So it's just easier having 2 cars there.
Talking with Jack Dover, the gas man, joined us on the show quite a bit. Winner at Thursday at I-80 Speedway for the prelude to the Silver Dollar Nationals. And we were going to try to get an interview with you on Thursday night and talk about it that night, but there was a mass exodus in that 15-minute window between the races ending and the Lucas Oil late model practice taking the track. I mean, that was interesting to watch. These sprint car guys get done with the race, especially you who were in Victory Lane,
yeah.
and just throw all your stuff in the holler, and everyone's hollering, "Let's get out of here! Let's get out of here!" And
yeah, no, I'd like to stay because I like to stay for my fans and just so I can visit with everybody, but I just didn't want to sit there for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It was already, I think, 11:15. So
it was a late night, a very late night. It was an early Friday morning for me. That I'm telling you, that alarm clock going off at 6:30 was rough again on Friday. And but yeah, no, I don't blame you at all. And that's why I said, well, I tell you what, either call in on Sunday morning or just join us in the show. And I was kind of surprised you came in and joined us. Not a lot of people do that.
I only live 2 miles away, so it wasn't too bad.
That's true. That's true. I should have just came over and slept at your house like your buddy did.
There you go.
That would have been a lot easier.
Yeah. Actually, he's up listening right now. I just got to say hi to Garrett.
Okay. Hey, where's Brody, by the way? We haven't talked to Brody in quite a while.
He's over in Australia, but actually his brother came over, Joey. He's going to start helping me. He came over 3 days ago, and he's here till the first week of October, actually.
Okay. Cool.
So
Brody,
we got a
ideas?
little Australian with us
Yeah,
again.
that's great. I love Australia. They're so fun.
Oh, yeah.
Any ideas if Brody's going to make it back over to the States, or is he kind of over there for a while?
I think he's going to be over there for a while, but I'm sure he'll come back. I mean, he likes coming back about every 3 years.
It's a long trip.
Yeah.
You said 24 hours?
From the last time I went over to Australia to race, it took me from the time I left Omaha to the place I got in Australia, it took me 24 hours.
Wow.
It's a long
I complain
flight.
about a couple-hour car ride. I cannot believe that. But let's get back into it. Let's talk about your night on Thursday night. I want to say you started row 6, row 7?
Row 4, outside row 4.
Oh, well, I was trying to give you more credit, Jack.
Yeah. The second to last time I was there, I started 11th. So.
And it seemed like from your timing all night long you were a little bit faster than Billy Alley. But the really worry there was that you were starting farther back from him. He was a little ways ahead of you in that start. So when it comes to those sprint cars, when you get out in front, you've got a good insurance policy.
Oh
there.
yeah, I mean when you're starting out, he started first and I started 8th, and me and him been kind of battling all year, and when you start out front like that, you get the clean air, and that's a huge deal in sprint cars. So I knew I was going to have to work my butt off, and in the first 5 laps, anywhere I went, there was always somebody right there slowing me down. So just had to calm myself down and get focused, and that's when we started going forward.
And the caution came out, stacked everything back up. I told you off the air, I said that's when Joe Koziski threw his arms up and goes, well, that's over now.
Yeah.
He didn't want that caution to come out. He wanted to see you two battle at it. But no, right after the caution, I think I saw you come off turn 2 with the lead.
Yeah, when the caution came out, I knew I was in 3rd, and it was Billy Alley. He was leading the race. So I figured we're going to have a good battle for the fans, but come rolling around, and I seen Billy Alley on the bottom there spun out, and then I realized I'd be in second. So just raced real hard after that yellow came out, and kind of got together with Don Droude, which was the leader at the time. We got together on the back stretch, and it could have been a lot uglier than what it was, but got past him and got in the clean air and never looked back.
And never slowed down a bit either. Contact with those cars, I mean, it's got minor contact is what you can really kind of stand, right?
Oh yeah, I mean, when it's open wheel like that, you can jump a wheel and you can be flipping the next second after that. So I mean, like I said, I got lucky on that one. We my left rear hit his right rear perfect. I mean, I could have jumped it and it could have been over. But.
Hey, have you ever driven a late model?
Yeah,
have
actually, my sister was racing out at I-80 in her 305. I think that was 08 or 07, and I was just there helping her, and I think it was Steve or Joe came up to me and, you want to jump in one of my late models? And I was like, I never drove one, but I'll give it a shot. And started in the back of the feature and came up and actually won it.
No kidding.
Yeah, first time in it, won it, and went across the scales, and I was like 14 or 15 pounds too light.
Did they set you up?
I don't know, but I still had fun. I mean, I wasn't expecting to win the race.
Well, if it was one of Joe's cars, you're about the size of Joe's legs. So.
I was a little loose in the seat.
Yeah, I'll bet. That's a nice way of putting it. A little loose in the seat. I was kind of curious because as the race was going on last night and Owens was catching Bloomquist, I know I've talked to you about it before, like at the Midwest Fall Brawl when you won the first year of the bonus purse, and I kept talking about the restarts and how well you were doing and how you said you can hear someone's engine winding up behind you and coming up in a sprint car. Can you hear the same thing in a late model?
Not really. I mean, because you got the panels and everything. The headers are inside the panels, so then your sound's echoing off your panels already. So I mean, it's hard to hear other cars around you and those things, I think.
Okay, that's what I was kind of curious about because when he was talking about how cognizant he was of that, right?
Big word again.
I know it's a big morning for me. Leave me alone, guys. Quit picking on me. But I'm just kind of curious about that. You guys don't have any rearview mirrors, any kind of things like that to be able to look back and see who's coming, or any kind of spotters like that. So, and I wondered it too. Like what was it about a month and a half ago when Cody Ledger ended up passing you and getting the win. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring it up, but like it kind of seemed like you were running your line, and all of a sudden he got by you. And maybe you were just sitting there going, I didn't realize he was back there.
Yeah, I mean, that's really what it was. I was just running my own line, and he was just so fast, I never had a chance to hear him or anything. He just went blowing by me, and I tried racing hard after that, and kind of hurt my tires, and I didn't have anything for him. So
you're winning about everything you possibly can in your 360, and I'm ready to see you in that 410. So you're going to get her in it, and you're going to get it going. You going to get that 410 put in there for the July 30th and 31st race?
Yeah, we're actually going to go and work on my other spare car today and try to get it buttoned up so I can put the 410 in that one and get both cars out there and hopefully walk away with the win in one of the classes. Probably more likely be a 360 because that's all I do, but I'd like to win the 410.
Well, at that track, I mean, you don't have much experience in a 410 in that track, though, do you?
No, but, I mean, it don't really matter. It's just... It's all laps. I mean, engine is an engine. So I think me racing there all the time is a huge help to me because I know what I need for a setup.
You got some pretty good talent that's going to be coming to town for that combined $140,000 purse that you're going to have to battle with. But, Danny Lasowski is one that comes to mind who just won the World of Outlaws race there. But being able to win against those guys, I mean, that's hopefully going to open up a couple of doors for you.
Yeah, hopefully one of these days they get some doors opened up. But,
tired of these dang things being shut.
I know, me too. But
I'm saying I'm tired of that. You're the one that's doing the waiting.
Yeah. No, but like you said, when you get Danny Lasowski or Brian Brown or some of those guys there like that, and you can come out with the win, you've actually done something. So. And
that's definitely going to be a race to kind of keep your eye on to see how many Knoxville guys come over here, and maybe even World of Outlaw guys take a day off and come over this way and race that race. That'll be really interesting to see.
There will be a lot of cars there.
There'll be a lot of cars there.
That's a lot of money on the line. I mean, it's $140,000 there, and I think Knoxville Nationals, the 410s, pay $150,000. So
yeah,
that's a lot of money.
We're kind of running out a little bit of time, but I wanted to get to one big question for you. I'm in the phase right now where I'm kind of getting fascinated by this engine refreshing process. Take me through that. When you send an engine down to get refreshed, what's the process?
I just take it out of the car, put it in the container, and a shipping company comes and picks it up. They take it to my engine builder, Chris Moss, in North Carolina. He tears it down, orders all the parts, and then puts it together, dynos it, and sends it back to me. And his turnaround time is awesome. It takes him about a month and a half.
So what's the parts that get replaced in this? Dirk, you probably know this too a little bit.
Rings, bearings for sure.
Pistons.
Well, I was going to say pistons I know they look at.
Yep.
And pistons are probably every other refresh. Valves.
Valve springs.
Valve springs are a must.
Yep.
That's just like rings and bearings.
In a 360 to get refreshed is about?
People say $6,000, but the real honest numbers is around $8,500, $9,000.
I was going to say 10.
Yep.
So.
In a 410 is considerably more. I've heard 15.
It's around 12.
Okay.
And 410s, you got to refresh your motors every 10 nights, and 360s you can get about 20 to 25. So
that's and that's where the money goes, right?
Yeah.
I mean to refresh it, you can't push it much farther past those 10 nights, can
right.
you? I mean, because I'm a cheapskate. I don't know if you've ever known that, but I mean, I'll run anything as far down as I can get it, but you can't do that because then you run the risk of losing the engine, and then you're out a bigger bill.
Right.
You count laps, Jack? Because you're saying nights. I was going to say I know the late model guys are all counting laps.
Yeah, no, we don't count laps. We just count the nights, and about halfway through the motor build, like say 12 nights, we'll put new valve springs on it, new retainers, and we cut our oil filter after every night, check for shavings, and I adjust the valves every night. I mean, I go through it pretty good.
What's the plans before the 30th and 31st? And you get to try to put that 410 in the car and maybe get one night on it ahead of time, or not risk the damage to the engine?
I'm not gonna put any more wear and tear on it. It's got 3 nights on it, so I'm gonna run it at I-80, and then we're going to take the Knoxville Nationals, and then we'll probably have 2 more shows on it till we got to send it back in there to get refreshing. But this coming weekend, we're going to go down to Hutchinson, Kansas, and run the Hutchinson Nationals. We've won that the last 2 years, and see if we can make it 3 in a row.
All right, Jack Dover, the gas man, driver of the number 53 Home Pride, Chris Moss built engine.
There you go.
All around the area, and I think are you leading in the points for the 360s?
I am not. Billy Alley's beating me by, I think, 39 points.
You got to quit taking races off.
Yeah.
But then again, you're never a points runner, are you?
No. I just go out and race wherever and try my hardest. But the thing that hurt us is that first race of the year out at I-80, we blew up the first night and didn't have our backup motor the second night. So that's why we're second in points right now.
We're going to have a quick turn 4. We're going to do tips from Chad. We'll talk about New Hampshire, and we've got a massive pile of hero cards that we collected this weekend from Jimmy Owens, from Jesse Sabic. You ever heard of that guy?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he's a nice guy.
Dylan
Smith, Chad Simpson, and we've got one really special one. It's a 5th annual Silver Dollar Nationals flyer that is autographed by the 3 of the 4 reigning champions. The only one that didn't sign it was Brian Burkhofer. Right, because Bloomquist is now 1-12. Okay, so, well, listen, the early morning's getting to me. We're going to end the show.
He was very cognizant when he signed it.
You guys are a bunch of sins. We'll be back here on the front stretch.
Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IFCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low-emission engines will still have you white-knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda-powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shaylee Bate, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
The road to Knoxville, July 30th and 31st at I-80 Speedway. The National Sprint League 410s and the ASCS 360 National Sprint Cars compete for the largest sprint car purse in Nebraska history. Doug Wolfgang will be on hand along with the Dolly Parson impersonator, and drivers will be competing for a $140,000 purse. Pick up $5 coupons at U-Stop and Casey's General Stores or visit sprintcarpromotions.com for more information.
We have all been there before. Broken car part in your hand and some snot-nosed punk behind the counter has no idea what he is talking about, but he guarantees that this part will fix your car. You pay an arm and a leg for the replacement, get it home, and sure enough, it doesn't fit your car. Now, learn from your mistake and give an experienced salesperson at Kosiski Auto Parts a call today at 402-731-4592. Kosiski Auto Parts will get you back on the road with your arms and legs still attached.
Dan and Dirk are live for one last corner. Give them a call now at 402-573-0590.
Just about ready to wrap this baby up, heading into turn number 4. We got to talk a little NASCAR action despite all the dirt that's going on around the area. Dirk, while I'm pulling up some more information here, talk to me a little bit about New Hampshire Motor Speedway, where we're heading to today.
Flat. Yeah, it makes Martinsville look like the high banks. Flat, big brake track. The main groove is about the second line off the bottom, where usually a flat track you're going to want to hug that little bit of curb you've got there, but not at New Hampshire. You're going to come off a little bit, and if you can get it hooked up on that bottom line, which is very rare, it happens every once in a while somebody finds it, but normally it's a lane off. Pit selection's big, so the guys that qualified up front and get to select their pits, that'll help. No rule package this week, back to normal. So you'll see we're in Kentucky. You know, you saw a few different people kind of running up front. You'll be back to the Harvicks, the Johnsons, et cetera, running up front.
Carl Edwards ended up winning the poll for today. The tips from Mr. Fantasy, he says his sleeper pick today is Kyle Larson. You agree with that? You like that pick?
Larson's had a little bit of luck up there. So
he's had a rough season, though. It's really surprising as he blasted on the scene last year and consistently raced really well. It's all seemed to have gone away this year.
That's just, with the rules package and stuff. It's like when we interviewed Justin Allgaier.
Mm-hmm.
He said, I wish I hadn't even raced last year.
Yeah.
He goes, I came in and ran in this circuit 1 year with the rules package and then had to switch. If I hadn't had that year on that rules package, I'd have come right in with this one. And he goes, I'd be a lot better off. I think it's the same way with Larson.
Top 5 drivers for New Hampshire: Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth, and Kurt Busch. The drivers you picked today cannot be used again for the next 5 races. So make that accordingly for your Pick'ems contest. Make sure you like us on the Facebook page, and we will make an announcement later this week on the next 5-week Pick'ems contest. It's absolutely free to join. It's free to participate, and you could win yourself tickets to, say, the Silver Dollar Nationals. We've got tickets lined up for the October race at Kansas. We'll be doing one in about a month and a half, so pay attention for all that. Front stretch 590. We got to end the show. We apologize. We ran out of time. Have a good weekend. This is the Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
One of the hardest things to find in the world is a trusted mechanic. Your car breaks down. You need someone that won't see you as an opportunity to pad their wallet. Jim at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is that person. From brake and AC inspections to custom exhaust and new tires, Tuffy Tire and Auto Service in Bellevue is your new trusted source for getting your car back on the road. Find them on Facebook at Tuffy Tire and Auto Service Center of Bellevue and online at tuffybellevue.com.
If you love wings, if you love rings, and all kinds of other tempting things, great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and lose.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food. Get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
This has been the Front Stretch Radio Show, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. To contact Dan or Dirk, find them on Facebook at The Front Stretch or email them at frontstretch590@gmail.com. If you missed any part of today's show or want to hear a previous show, subscribe to the Joe's Karting YouTube page, where you can find almost every Front Stretch show.